You're the main course. You'll pay for this. The check's in the mail, baby. Oh, what are you trying? No, I give up. Come on. You're supposed to be the good guy. You can't do this. Why not? I have the power.
My Uncle Ben, he always used to tell me, with great power comes great responsibility.
Oh. I knew you wouldn't. No! What have I done? What's this costume doing?
Doc Connors was right. The symbiote's taking control. I gotta get it off.
Oh, it's too late. It won't let me. The suit is in pain. I can feel it. Why? Sonic vibration. Noise makes you crazy. I should have guessed that before. But why didn't I know your weakness? Did you block it from my mind to protect yourself?
Was Connors right?
Stay away from me! I thought I wanted what you had to offer, but I'm not like you. And I won't let you do this to me. No!
At last, it's over. I gotta get out of here.
Knew it. Spider-Man, enjoy your fame while it lasts.
Hello everyone and welcome to, and I've already spoiled like what it should have been. You know what, let's try that again. Let's get that off the screen, yeah? Because you know what, yeah? This whole show is going to be me ripping on Venom. I'm very, very sorry to anybody out there who liked the film, but you know what, yeah? Or stupid. Welcome to another Fowl Originals Newsround, the only show which gets itself copyright struck from YouTube, because that's how passionately I feel about this. Apologies for the late start of this show, but technical difficulties occurred. Technical difficulties which I couldn't deal with within the time, and unfortunately, that's not it. I want to make this disappear. I want to make you disappear, so that we can just kind of start this with a fresh. And I'll give him a hot take on Venom. Now, I just wanted to start the show with it because I just seen it, and like, I just got off the phone with someone, but I got off the phone with them. If you ever watch this, and thanks, man. But like, I got off the phone with them, and like, we were both like generally angry about something unrelated. But I was so angry about Venom, I literally spent the majority of the conversation just trying to explain to him, I don't like the film. I went and saw a stupid film. But let me quickly and briefly, spoilers, obviously, the movie spoiled itself. Spoilers. There be spoilers. So, Eddie Brock, played by Tom Hardy, is sensational. Can't save the film though, because the film doesn't know what it's trying to be. So the film starts off with kind of like a general nod to anybody listening in the audience, and they're like, oh, well, this guy is bringing back these organisms from space, and this spaceship crashes. Special effects are so bad. Like, that's what I remember just starting off the film and going like, I could have drawn a better spaceship than that and then just taken it across the screen. It was so bad. And then I was like, was this scene added in post-production to make the film make sense? And then it starts off like the worst ever like TV movie you've ever seen in your life. And that's what I attribute that film to. It's a really, really expensive TV movie. And Avi Arad can make amazing TV movies. And that's what he's done. He's given a TV movie budget to a blockbuster film. And what we basically got was, if anybody watched the the really terrible, really terrible show, the I can't remember what it's called now, Marvel show. Oh, I'm blanking now. Inhumans, yeah. So the Inhuman show was similar. Like, if this was a TV show, I would have thought it would have been amazing. Yeah, this would have worked really well as like 6 hour-long episodes, yeah, like HBO style, Netflix style. This would have been amazing, yeah. But instead, what we get is Tom Hardy being Tom Hardy, being the unwilling victim in everything. Like, I'm not a bad guy, it's Venom's fault. No, it's not Venom's fault. That's the whole character, yeah? And like, I don't mean to be all like old man Fowl on you, but this is not our Venom. This is not our Venom. The Venom, our true Venom, was that guy in the animated series, yeah? That was Venom. That was the symbiote taking over and going, I'm just taking over, Eddie, yeah? Like, that's just your life. There was no Spider-Man, but the one bit of fan service that we got in the whole film, well, 2 bits of fan service. First, and that's why it feels like it was tacked on. It feels like this was a horror film that was written, and they were like, oh, cool, we're just going to put Venom's face over the person. Yeah, it's weird. And like, someone on my Instagram has said that this is and I don't want to single them out, so I'm just going to, they've said that this is the best movie of 2018. Just watch some more films, just generally, because it wasn't good. Like, there were certain scenes where, and that's what I mean, it's like, it's kind of like Suicide Squad, where the movie was terrible on its own. If you judge the movie on it's a terrible film, yeah. It's absolutely terrible. Pacing's everywhere, yeah. Music's great, yeah. Like, the focus on Harley Quinn, I guess, like, that was good, but everything else, the plot makes no sense. This plot, luckily, makes sense, yeah. So I was happy about that. This plot actually did make some sense. So there was, like, as I said, like, the general highlights are that spaceship crashes with symbiotes on board. Then we get to see a cavalcade of really cool comedy actors that I thought were amazing in it. Hello there, Ben Swiss. Really amazing in it. Like, they were really good. Like, the dude from the President show, I can't remember now, with Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Veep, yeah. Dan from Veep was in it. Hello there, Hansa. Dan from Veep was in it. He was amazing, yeah. But very briefly, the sister of the dude that hangs out with Tom in Parks and Recs, he's awesome as well, yeah. Sorry, she's awesome as well as like the Doctor. But you have this film where it's like Tom Hardy's not a bad guy. He's just had a bad day. But if we like, there's a part of it like this. If I was critiquing it correctly, yeah, and as I have a self-inflated sense of purpose, importance, then I would say you cut out that whole first beginning of the film and start it with Eddie Brock here, down on his luck, drinking and stuff. But then they tried to like update the character as well. So they're like, oh, now he doesn't get investigative reporting, and he doesn't even know. Like, I like the fact that they moved the whole story to San Francisco so that they wouldn't run into Peter Parker or something. Because at some point, okay, so out of 10, I'm not going to do like 10s and stuff. Like, as I said, our system is literally thumbs up, thumbs down. Which brings us to the general critique. So there were fun segments in there. Like, I'm not going to say that it was like all bad, yeah. But I don't have this, and we're not going to give anything that, because that's not fair. But I specifically kept away from all reviews of this movie. They were all embargoed, and I was like, I'm not going to go in with like it's going to be bad. But I started giggling after like the first, when it started and went Venom, and I was like, oh, they've ruined it. And it was because you could just tell, like, when special effects look cheap, that means that they've either been rushed or they ran out of money spending on a bankable star. So like, Michelle Williams is in it. She's pretty hot. And she looks great in it, and the character she plays is great. And there's all these weird, as I said, these weird nods of fan service. So at the beginning, like, as the spaceship comes down, yeah, like in that version of the alien costume. Like in the animated series version, it's like J. Jonah Jameson's son is on the rocket. It's all a big deal. He comes down because he looks like Spider-Man. He's all like, it's Spider-Man with a black costume and all of that stuff. This movie doesn't have any of that. So they just create this villain that's the villain. Yeah, that's who Venom has to fight. And he's like, he's the lesser of two evils. Like, I hate stuff like that. That's not how you create an anti-hero. You have to either make them, yeah, like the big bad has to be a big bad. And in this case, it was like a guy who, like they say the best villains are people who think they're doing the right thing. You know that he wasn't doing the right thing, you know, and it even starts off with like, don't do it, Eddie. Don't do what you did in New York. I got kicked out of New York. And that was fun. That was fun. And then, so yeah, one of the people that die out in the wilderness is they're like, oh no, it's Jameson. Jameson's alive. And I was like, that's a little, I see what you did there. But no Spider-Man. No Spider-Man. And then they're setting it up for like, I don't know, like a road trip movie down the line or something. Like they've taken out anything that was angry Venom. Like he does eat people's heads, but it's almost in a kind of whoopsie, it's someone's head again. It's not even like Riz Ahmed was miscast in that role. Definitely. Like he played like that's what I don't understand because the Avi Arad and like it's released through Columbia Pictures, yeah, and Sony, they have the rights to all these things anyway. So they could have quite easily gone, they could have mentioned Spider-Man. And then even at the beginning, yeah, like the Marvel logo takes ages and everyone's like, and I remember hearing someone in the cinema go, oh, it's all right, it's a Marvel film. And then it went, in association with Marvel. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, I spoke to Marvel one time and they said that this is all right. And that's what the film is. And I don't mean to be like all like gatekeepery about it, but that was not my Venom. That was not our Venom. Hashtag not my Venom. But I would like to watch it again at some point without like the fire inside me to say that it was terrible. Because as I said, there were certain parts of it which I did laugh at. Yeah, I laughed at, and that's what I mean. I laughed at the bits where Tom Hardy was being Tom Hardy. The gimmick of having, and like it was a really smart gimmick. Like and that's the really annoying thing. The CG of Venom and Venom was amazing, and as I said, Tom Hardy was spectacular. Yeah, he did not bring this film down whatsoever. The decisions made, like, and even plot was fine. It was really easy to digest. It wasn't like a really sprawling conspiracy or anything. It was just this guy is like this guy is experimenting on humans and the homeless and stuff, and then this guy, and it's almost like it had a weird Deadpool feel to it. There was one F-bomb. I remember that was pretty cool, but it was like a kid's movie trying to be an adult movie. And anyway, second bit of fan services at the end, and don't really want to spoil it for you, but it was spoiled for me anyway because people were telling me about it. They're like, oh, you know, so spoilers beware, yeah. Spoilers, they be spoilers, yeah. I'll have to put that in the description, I guess. But you see an amazing bit at the end, which is pure fan service. Like after the credits, I didn't stay past the third. I don't know if there was another post credit scene, but I stayed for that bit, and I was like, F this. And then I went, YouTube, gotta be classy. But I saw like at the end of the movie, I waited and people started leaving, and you see Eddie Brock talking about, because obviously Eddie Brock's like he's not gonna die yet, but anyway, like, so that's what I mean. It was really, really like it was really predictable. But so you get to the end of the movie, and Eddie Brock is now like, I'm gonna start writing instead. So he's writing, yeah, and he's like, I've got an interview with someone you're never even gonna know. Goes off, post-credit scene, he goes to this San Quentin prison, and he's in San Quentin prison, and there's someone there, and he's like drawing words with blood, turns around, it's freaking Woody Harrelson. Yeah, that was sweet. Like, and also there was a Stan Lee cameo, but obviously, but yeah, Woody Harrelson is at the end, and he's like, hey, and they're like, I'm not a serial killer, I just want to say one thing, when they let me out, there will be carnage. And I was like, God damn, that's Cletus Cassidy. God damn, we didn't get carnage. God damn you all to hell. But yeah, that's all the spoilers I'm going to give you, Hunter. Yeah, that's it. Because as I said, it's a general review. But what I wanted to say was that even the fan service was tacked on. I am very disappointed with this film. And even though I went and saw The Spy Who I was the spy who loved me, the spy who dumped me, which I was made to watch by the internet. Yeah, I very much enjoyed that film. I thought that was a very good film, very underrated. Yeah, very surprising. I've always had like Mila Kunis is an amazing comedy actress, and Mila, and so is Kate McKinnon. I'd seen Kate McKinnon in a few things, but she really stood out to me in that film. Amazingly, she did a really good job. But this is my general rating of Venom. The reason why I've top loaded Venom here is because I know a lot of you are not going to care for the rest of this, but what do I give this? So out of our rating scale of thumbs up or thumbs down, I had to go out there and actually saw spoilers at the beginning of my review, but we're going to give it, like I've got two images here, one's thumbs up, one's thumbs down. Which one do you think I'm going to go? We're going thumbs down. We're going thumbs down. So unfortunately, I would not recommend that you see this at the cinema. Now, my voice doesn't really mean much. I mean, I get a decent view kind of here on the Periscope. Thank you very much. You can subscribe to me at Fowl Original with the YouTube and the Periscope and the Twitch. And also, obviously, you can go to, if you want classy entertainment, you can go to, and I mean, because hopefully this will, this will work. If you want classy entertainment, a classy individual with classy things that make sense, go to fowloriginal.com. If you go to fowloriginal.com, you can help support the channel and just help the scourge of bad films, because I felt really bad when I walked out of that film. And you can see it on my Instagram. Not because, like, I saw the film, yeah, because, yeah, as I said, to a certain extent, I enjoyed the film, like, it was fine. But to another point, I was like, I have just, yeah, encouraged a bad film to do relatively well in the cinema. Anyway, you can go to donate. If you go to the donate button, very short today. Go to the donate button. It'll take you to a PayPal donation page, and you can go ahead and give me $5 if you want. Make it a monthly donation, and that will help support all the stuff. I had to pay to see that film tonight. I have an unlimited, but I had to pay £2.50 to see that film. Like, that's what I mean. I feel like I've given to them. You could give me just money to help me just absorb that sadness, the deep sadness, and the deep longing inside of me. Make it a monthly donation and help me to support the rest of the content that I do on the regs. Thank you very much. Back to your regularly scheduled news round. Oh, and like, I feel bad because I know that there's going to be a lot of people that come out to defend this film, yeah. And as I said, I would be one of them, but they took certain liberties, yeah. And I do feel like a gatekeeper. Like, I remember as I was saying in the conversation, I was like, oh, it feels like I'm being a film snob. I'm not, yeah. Like, as I said, I watched The Spy Who Dumped Me, and we gave that a thumbs up. Because that was a film which I had very low expectations going to, and it totally surpassed them. This film, I had, like, I think, in all honesty, because I really love the character, I had, like, even expectations. I was like, it could go either way. And then after the first 3 minutes of that film, I just thought, oh, no, I'm going to have to, and I looked at my phone, I switched my phone off so that I wouldn't be disturbed and stuff, and I was like, oh, man, what? I'm going to have to run home to do news round anyway after this, and I'm not going to be very happy, and I feel like I just wasted like an hour and 40 of my life watching not a terrible film, but definitely one that I'm sure will pop off the top 10 very quickly. I wonder how its first weekend will do. Like, we will look into that at some point, because probably on Monday, I guess, but I want to look into how Venom did in the box office, because there are way better films out like right now that should be killing it. But I also now know why it's done around Halloween, because it was presented as a horror film. Yes, it was a terrible horror. Horror of sitting there to watch it. Anyway, I got that out. I said, I remember saying earlier, I'm going to dedicate like 20 minutes to ripping on this film when we first started Fowl Originals News Round. Like, it's only going to be the normal hour long, but I was like, I feel like that's the top story for tonight. Don't let, please, don't let the entertainment media allow you to, this is a proper conspiracy, but don't allow them to serve you tripe, don't allow them to serve you tripe, because every single one of you that goes out and goes, it was all right, what you're actually doing is you're allowing them to make a sequel or further bastardizations. I'm allowed to say that on YouTube because it's a word, not like a thing, but bastardizations of existing media. Like, I can see how Venom could fit into the MCU. I could see that, like, this version of the character totally could. I think it'd be pretty sweet. But you know what? Like, the whole, and maybe it is the whole point of the character was supposed to be what Spider-Man could be if he didn't have the responsibilities, great power comes great responsibility. With Venom, it's with great power comes great irresponsibility. And I like that. And I like when Venom has to do stuff. And like, even the plot of the film was like, I only want to help you because I like this place now, and oh yeah, I like you and stuff. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Like it was framed as like a black comedy, no pun intended. But and it was funny in that version. It was funny, but it didn't need to be Venom. And I wonder what this script originally looked like, and I wonder who was attached to play it. And I know that the title would not have been Venom. It would have been like just generic science guy goes bad by his own experiments. ... Insert Kevin Costner. Anyway, that's enough about that. I apologize for nothing. So taking us to because that's what I was saying, 20 minutes worth of that, and I was already angry. So oh, there's already a chat going on. Let's nip you over to in other news. So in other news today, loads of things. I'm going to kind of zip through them as fast as I can because I've spent a lot of time on Venom. And it's not because, and as I said, it's not because anyone that is watching has watched the film. It's like, I think that you're stupid or anything like that. Like, people enjoy whatever they enjoy. I personally don't enjoy that film as much as I wanted to. And I wanted to enjoy that film. Like, I really did. I didn't go in with a, like, yeah, I might have said some stuff on Instagram, but it was more of a case of, I read the reviews and I was like, please don't be bad. Please prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. Tom Hardy proved me wrong. And as I said, he was sensational in that film. And Riz Ahmed was miscast. Riz Ahmed should have been someone totally. Anyway, enough about Venom. I've spewed all the venom I could about that movie. You can't see, but I'm winking right now. Anyway, let's take you to another news. Now, I did actually, as I waited for the bus, angry as could be, I got some stories. So these are the brief stories from bbcnews.co.uk. Obviously, you can also check out the live stream I'll be doing for wrestling on Saturday. Anyway, let's have a look at this. Now, let's take it from Venom and a pain in the bum to segue. Second Brit dies after Brazilian butt lift surgery. Now, I mean, if that isn't a headline that you want to read in your life, then I don't know who you are. Written by Chi Uzundu from a Victoria Derbyshire programme. A second British woman has died from Brazilian butt lift surgery, the BBC has learned, as fresh warnings come over the risks. Just an excuse for the BBC to put a picture of someone's bum. Yeah, and the surgery has been made popular by celebrities, but many people are putting themselves at risk by seeking cheaper procedures abroad. BAPS warned. The place is called BAPS, the British Association of Aesthetic Plastic Surgeon. I mean, I know they were having a joke there at someone's expense. They had to be. A Brazilian butt lift, one death in 3,000. A Brazilian butt lift, BBL, is the cosmetic procedure in which fat is taken from one part of the body and then injected into the buttocks. BAPS told the BBC's Victoria Derbyshire programme an estimated 1 in 3,000 die worldwide as a result of complications. In August, 29-year-old Leia Cambridge died while undergoing a BBL procedure in Turkey. A second British woman in her late 20s also died this year. The Victoria Derbyshire programme has learned. An inquest into her death is due to happen within the next year. So 2 people have died from getting fat inserted into their bum. Gerald Lambe, consultant plastic surgeon and BAPS member, explained it has the highest death rate of all procedures. Hello there, ADCs of wrestling. It has the highest death rate of all procedures due to the risk of injecting fat into large veins in the buttocks that can travel into the heart or brain. My bum was leaking. I mean, I love this article, which is why I thought it would be a nice little, like, palate cleanser, mental palate cleanser after I just ripped on Venom for like 20 minutes. One 23-year-old woman from Wales, who did not wish to be named, says she has been left scarred for life after having BBL surgery in February in Turkey. 3 months after the operation, infected holes appeared on her buttocks. I couldn't walk properly for ages, she said. To be honest, when the holes came, it was better as the fat was leaking out, which made it possible to walk again. She said her buttocks were leaking for 3 months, soaking all my clothes. She added, it smelled. I had to bandage it up every day. I honestly wish I could go back. I was happy with my body before and how I paid a stupid amount of money to look like this. And this is bringing us to, and it's a story that I was going to cover yesterday about Instagram people making money and stuff, but it's kind of just gone full circle. But psychological issues. Women who have undergone BBL surgery abroad have had to seek NHS treatment as a result of it going wrong, which BAPS estimates is costing the health service thousands of pounds. It is calculated that serious complications, including pulmonary embolus, embolus, fat necrosis, and abscess that require time in hospital can cost more than £13,000 per patient. Those affected require an average hospital stay of 20 days, it suggested, based on data at one hospital. Now there's someone who didn't help the bum fat injection. She had so many things in her bum that she's making other people want to put things in their bum. Cheryl Palmer Hughes, a solicitor from Irwin Mitchell, specialising in claims. Have you been affected by BBL surgery? Is your bum leaking? It arising from cosmetic surgery abroad, said the number of girls inquiring about BBL complications is growing. Some patients have had skin grafts, others have had significant periods of time off work, and some have suffered psychological issues, she said, laughing. Complaints also include having fat transferred to the wrong area of the body, for example to the thighs rather than the buttocks. Well, you want to keep the thigh gap, you want to make the shelf appear. Still in pain. A second woman who spoke to the BBC anonymously said she went to Turkey for BBL surgery 2 years ago because the cost was a lot cheaper than in the UK. She only met the surgeon for the first time 10 minutes before being put under general anaesthetic. A few days later, she had a really high fever, but when she tried to talk to the surgeon and nurses, she says they stopped responding to her emails and texts. This woman told the BBC she is still in pain 2 years after her BBL. Look at her bum. Now that is a shelf where an elf could live on. She was admitted to hospital in the UK and had to take a month off work. 2 years on, the woman said she still has pain from the surgery. Ms. Palmer Hughes said more than half of her clients had undergone surgery in Turkey, with Hungary, Belgium and Spain also regular destinations. She added that the women often sign documentation they do not get to read, with the terms and conditions containing a clause stating that any negative comments made online or on social media will result in a defamation lawsuit. That is the bit which is the real, butt of the joke, because at the end of the day they're not allowed to say anything because they might get sued from the people that put things in their bum. But I thought this was a pretty big story, and I didn't want to leave it till the end because this story about bums, everyone should know. And I mean, we've just spoke about venom, so I've already talked about the thing that comes out of bums, and now I thought I'd talk about the things that goes into bums. As they say in Training Day, have you ever had your ish pushed in? Have you ever had your ish pushed in? And I feel like many women have done that with BBL surgery. In other news, so also in other news, I would like to talk about this story, which is a fun little story, which I don't really seem to understand why it's happening, but Unilad viral publisher goes into administration. Well, I mean, that was going to happen, wasn't it? The firm that owns viral news website Unilad has gone into administration, putting hundreds of jobs at risk. Bentley Harrington has debts of £6.5 million, including owing £1.5 million to UK tax authorities. The Unilad Facebook account has 39 million followers and posts viral videos and news stories. A £10 million joint bid for the company has been made by Linton Capital, whose partner David Sefton is interim chief executive of Unilad. I've known the company for quite a while, he said. I don't know why he's speaking like that. The offer, Rocket Sports, which Chief Executive Will Muirhead describes as a network of 300 biased football news creators on social media, is part of the joint bid. The offer of £10 million in cash, which Mr. Sefton said has been secured, would go to pay back creditors at 100p in the pound, he said. He added that Unilad was an attractive as a business as it pulled in core programmatic revenue of between £6 million and £7 million per year. Unilad, which has offices in London and Manchester, was founded in 2010. It was shut down in 2012, relaunched in 2014 under new owners Liam Harrington and Sam Bentley. It was named as one of Facebook's most popular pages last year. Manchester-based administrators Leonard Curtis Business Rescue and Recovery say they are seeking offers for the business in order to preserve jobs and maximise the return to creditors. Mr. Sefton said he was aware of other parties who were interested in bidding, but as far as he was aware, his was the first formal bid. Creditors. It is understood that Unilad employs more than 200 people. Administration came after hearing at a specialist insolvency and companies court in London, where Judge Clive Jones heard that a creditor and directors of the firm agreed that administrators should be appointed. HM Revenues and Customs officials were also not against administrators being appointed. Unilad founder Alex Partridge told the court he was owed £5 million and argued for the company to be placed into administration. Lawyers for Bentley Harrington had initially argued against administration but withdrew their objections. HM Revenue and Customs officials issued a petition to wind up Bentley Harrington to separate litigation, with that case coming to court on the 31st of October. So yeah, like Unilad is going to continue going on, but it will be owned by different lads. That's the Unilad way. And one of probably the biggest, and it is one of the biggest Facebook pages. I see content coming across that on Twitter all the time from Unilad Bible being a really, really big deal. And they have gone into administration. But obviously everyone at the top has been taken care of. That's why it's gone into administration. But that kind of links in also to the news that Toys R Us was coming back that we mentioned yesterday. And, you know, it's some pretty big news going on at the moment when it comes to companies kind of restructuring and selling bits off, but protecting whoever created those companies. As I said, it must be amazing to be in a business, any kind of business, where you can just say, cool, we're bankrupt. Oh, cool, we're back next week with the same people. In other news, clear and simple faulty digital pregnancy tests recalled. And there's a woman getting her pregnancy test. More than 58,000 digital pregnancy tests have been recalled after some wrongly told women they were expecting. Women who have bought the clear and simple test, manufactured by Guangzhou Wanfo Biotech, are being advised to return it. The Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency strongly encouraged women to report issues with the test, which has been distributed in the UK. The specific lot number of the affected tests is on and inside the packaging. Description: clear and simple digital pregnancy test. Expiry date: 20th January 2020. A recall notice from manufacturer dated 1st of September said the particular batch of tests was producing a number of false positives. Dr. Duncan McPherson, Clinical Director of Medical Devices at the UK's Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, said, "Patient safety is our highest priority. We strongly encourage anyone to report any issues with this product or more generally with any medical device to our yellow card scheme. If you have any questions about using digital pregnancy tests, please speak to your healthcare professional. Positive results in normal circumstances are almost always correct, the NHS advises, while a negative test result is less reliable." So if you got a baby in you, then you're more than likely going to get the positive. If you get a negative, probably also pregnant. So, I mean, basically, if you get any kind of result, you're pregnant. That's what they're saying. Anyway, looping into what we were talking about yesterday as well. In other news, teacher Eleanor Wilson sickened by plain sex claims. So these are the stories about this lady who allegedly had a tryst with one of her students. Eleanor Wilson faces 4 counts of sexual activity with a child under 18 while in a position of trust. A school teacher told police that claims she had sex with a teenage pupil in an airplane toilet made her feel sick. Eleanor Wilson is accused of having sex with the boy on the way back from a school trip in 2015. She described the allegations against her as sounding like a porn film and said the claims had come from the boy's imagination. Bristol Crown Court heard. Ms. Wilson, 29, denies 4 counts of sexual activity with a child under 18 while in a position of trust. The pupil in the school concerned cannot be identified for legal reasons. It's interesting on this side to feel like the pupil isn't being named, but if this was the other way round, people would constantly be like, I'm surprised there isn't a big, like, we should have the pupil named. I like that this is an equal opportunities situation. I really like that. Hashtag me too. The people in the school concerned cannot be identified for legal reasons. Ms. Wilson said during a police interview that having sex with a teenager was the last thing on my mind. I value my job. I would have not jeopardised going to prison, she said. It just sounds like a porn film. It's come from his imagination. The other staff there would say that wasn't happening. It makes me feel sick, the idea of it. Cheeky chap. Ms. Wilson of Dursley, Gloucestershire, admitted meeting up with the boy and texting him after the school trip, explaining the lines were blurred. In police interviews, she said she later told him she was pregnant by her boyfriend, Andrew Hall, and was planning to have an abortion because she felt lonely and upset. Ms. Wilson agreed she had told the teenager to keep their meetings a secret, but she only saw him as a mate and did not have feelings for him. Giving evidence in court for the first time, Ms. Wilson said there was no truth whatsoever in allegations she had a sexual relationship with a teenage boy who she described as quite a charming, cheeky chap. She told jurors that during the flight she was regularly checking on several students who were suffering from food poisoning. Ms. Wilson, who now works as a civil servant, said her former boyfriend, Mr. Hall, was very controlling, at times abusive, and by August 2015 she was unhappy with their relationship. She told the jury she phoned the pupil after an argument she had with Mr. Hall while they were on holiday. I called him because I didn't have anyone else. He knew it was bad and he wouldn't judge what I said. He knew me, she said. The trial continues. Now, as I said, this is an ongoing trial and we are making a lot of assumptions. We're making, not accusations, as I said, I'm just reading the news, but I personally look at that woman right now and maybe she did. We don't know. That's for a judge and this trial to kind of get to the bottom of. But I also feel like this whole lines are blurred things may have happened, but I think that maybe they didn't happen on that flight, and some of it may have been from the imagination of the child, but I feel like she's kind of that something probably went on there. Just my gut, something probably went on there. And that's not, obviously he was of age, and this is the thing, it's a very interesting story because it's not like he was an underage student, he was just a student. But let's take you to, in other news again, Russia's cyber plots, US, UK, and Netherlands allege hacking. So this is a big story that came out as well. And oh, there's another big story actually that I wanted to talk about. But the US Justice Department said targets included the global chemical weapons watchdog, anti-doping agencies, and a US nuclear company. So basically, they did a big sting, and it was a massive sting. And this is what Russia is being accused of. The Netherlands has accused 4 Russians of plotting to hack the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, the OPCW, which have been probing the chemical attack on a Russian ex-spy in the UK. The UK government accused the GRU, so that's Russia, of being behind 4 high-profile cyber attacks, whose targets included firms in Russia and Ukraine, the US Democratic Party, and a small TV network in the UK. The US has said its anti-doping agency, football's governing body FIFA, and the US nuclear energy company Westinghouse were also targeted by Russian intelligence. And Canada said with high confidence that breaches at its Centre for Ethics in Sports and at the Montreal-based World Anti-Doping Agency were carried out by Russian intelligence. Added to this, the Dutch authorities have said a laptop seized from the 4 suspects in April was found to have been used in Brazil, Switzerland, and Malaysia. In Malaysia, the Netherlands said it was used to target the investigation into the downing of Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 in 2014 over territory held by Russian-backed rebels in eastern Ukraine. All 298 people on board were killed. And that was a story that people were talking about before as well. And what has Russia said? Russia's foreign ministry has earlier dismissed the allegations, and the Netherlands as Western spy mania. They released an official statement late on Thursday saying it was the victim of yet another stage-managed propaganda campaign, otherwise known as #FakeNews. It's unclear who is supposed to believe these statements accusing Russian citizens of attempting to mount cyber attacks against the OPCW in trying to obtain data related to the Malaysian flight MH17, as if it is necessary to be near the target of your attack, it said. Any Russian citizen carrying a mobile device is seen as a spy, the statement added. Other countries have said Russia retaliated for bans on its athletes following evidence it was systematically using drugs to enhance their performance, and that they've been altering perceptions of the truth. And as a result of the findings, the US has indicted several people, men who were expelled from the Netherlands, while the other 3 were among those charged in July with hacking Democratic officials during the 2016 US election. Charged with fraud, identity theft, money laundering, and then we have a joint statement from British Prime Minister Theresa May and Mark Rutte from the Dutch Prime Minister that said the alleged plot against the OPCW demonstrated the GRU's disregard for global values and rules that still keep us safe. What were they doing in the Netherlands? And it's just a general, like, all of the things that were done. Who are the suspects? They were named by the MIVD as hackers Alexei Moretz, Yevgeny Serebrikov, and support agents Oleg Sotnikov and Alexei Minin. Officials said they were for the GRU's Unit 26165, which has been known as APT28. The UK's ambassador to the Netherlands, Peter Wilson, said the unit had sent officers around the world to conduct brazen, close-access cyber operations, which involved in hacking into Wi-Fi networks. What was on their computer, and it's like targeted cyber operation in Malaysia, targeted the Attorney General Office and Malaysian police as well as the investigation, and they concluded a missile that brought down MH17 belonged to a Russian brigade. That was from Dutch-led international investigators. Russia denied any involvement. Data from the laptop said it was also present in the Swiss city of Lausanne, where it was linked to the hacking of a laptop belonging to WADA, which has exposed doping by Russian authorities. So I'm not going to say anything about Russia because I'm not a big enough target to even matter, but I'm not stupid. But at the same time, #FakeNews. Please don't. Please leave me alone. I'm only a boy. But this is fresh news. In other news, Cristiano Ronaldo rape allegation, Nike expresses deep concern. So for some of you who may or may not be following this, there were allegations that Cristiano Ronaldo had committed rape not that long ago, a few months ago. This was squashed as hashtag fake news, and it all kind of went away. Then in the past few days, there have been fresh allegations and fresh evidence apparently linked to this. So Nike has said it is deeply concerned by rape allegations against footballer Cristiano Ronaldo. The US sportswear giant, which has a contract worth a reported $1 billion, £768 million with Ronaldo, said it would continue to closely monitor the situation. EA Sports, which also has a contract with Ronaldo, made similar statements. Ronaldo, 33, earlier firmly denied assaulting Catherine Mayorga at a Las Vegas hotel in 2009. Ms. Mayorga, the 34-year-old former US teacher, was inspired to speak out by the hashtag MeToo movement, her lawyer said. The MeToo movement and the women who have stood up and disclosed sexual assaults has given Catherine a lot of courage. And what did Nike and EA say? Nike, in a statement, said, "We are deeply concerned by the disturbing allegations and will continue to monitor closely the situation." And EA Sports said, "We have seen the concerning report that details allegations against Cristiano Ronaldo. We are closely monitoring the situation as we expect cover athletes and ambassadors to conduct themselves in a manner that is consistent with EA's values. Just fraud and microtransactions. Don't be touching the staff." In a separate development, Juventus, the Italian club Ronaldo joined from Real Madrid for £99.2 million in July, came out in defence of its player. In a tweet, Juventus said, "Cristiano Ronaldo has shown in recent months his great professionalism and dedication, which is appreciated by everyone at Juventus." How has Ronaldo responded? The Portuguese international had previously said the allegation first reported in German magazine Der Spiegel was hashtag fake news. On Wednesday, he issued a statement through his Twitter account. "I firmly deny the accusations being issued against me. Rape is an abominable crime that goes against everything that I am and believe in. Keen as I may be to clear my name, I refuse to feed the media spectacle created by people seeking to promote themselves at my expense. My clear conscience Freudian slip. My clear conscience will thereby allow me to await with tranquility the results of any and all investigation." Basically what he's saying is, hashtag fake news. Der Spiegel said Ms. Mayorga had filed a report with Las Vegas police shortly after the alleged incident. So at least that is one thing that is not normally in these cases. It's normally like, oh yeah, like, I couldn't tell the police because I was scared. There was an actual police report. The next year, she reportedly reached an out-of-court settlement with Ronaldo involving a $375,000 to £288,000 payment for agreeing never to go public with the allegations. Her lawyers are now seeking to declare the non-disclosure agreement void. In a lawsuit, Ms. Mayorga said she met Ronaldo at the Rain nightclub in the Palms Hotel and Casino and that he raped her in his penthouse suite. Mr. Stovall said his client has suffered from major depression and considered suicide since the alleged assault almost a decade ago. He said a psychiatrist had diagnosed Ms. Mayorga with post-traumatic stress disorder. Las Vegas police confirmed on Tuesday they had initially investigated the complaint in June 2009, but added they had no suspect in the case. At the time the report was taken, the victim did not provide detectives with the location of the incident or suspect description, a statement said. As of September 2018, the case has been reopened and the detectives are following up on information being provided, it added. Ronaldo's lawyers have previously said they will sue Der Spiegel magazine over its reporting. But as we have seen in many of these other cases, when it's found that the things that they said were true, then they were the ones that managed to get the monies. So Ronaldo is a pretty big cash cow though, so there's a lot of people that are going to be gunning for him. Not literally, they're not Russian. Hashtag fake news. And we've got one more story that I can slip in here before our final story of the day. And we'll move into Metro Moments and we'll be wrapping up the show then. In other news, Osaka cuts San Francisco ties over comfort woman statue. The controversial monument represents women forced to work in military brothels. Japan's Osaka City has ended its sister city ties with San Francisco with a display of a statue depicting women forced to work as sex slaves for Japanese soldiers during World War II. Osaka Mayor Hirofumi Yoshimura said the Comfort Women monument destroyed the two sides' relationship of trust. The work depicts three young women from Korea, China and the Philippines standing in a circle holding hands. It is estimated that 200,000 women were kept in these military brothels. The statue on display in San Francisco, which was initially set up privately but officially accepted by the US city last November, is entitled The Women's Column of Strength. It represents the women who worked in the brothels at the time, including some who were reportedly lured with the offer of paid work as cooks or cleaners. Mr. Yoshimura's decision to end Osaka's sisterhood with the city, which dates back to 1957, was first announced in November, but the move was delayed following the death of San Francisco Mayor Ed Lee in December. Lee was later replaced by London Breed, the city's first female black mayor. Mr. Yoshimura set out the reasons for the decision in a 10-page letter to Ms. Breed, saying that part of the problem was the monument's inscription, which he said presents uncertain and one-sided claims as historical facts. There is also disagreement among historians when regarding the historical facts, such as the number of comfort women, the degree to which the former Japanese army was involved, and the extent of the wartime harm, his letter adds. In a statement, Mayor Breed said it was impossible to cut the ties between the two cities, which have enjoyed a relationship for over 60 years. One mayor cannot unilaterally end a relationship that exists between the people of our two cities, she said. The full inscription on the side of the statue reads, "This monument bears witness to the suffering of hundreds of thousands of women and girls, euphemistically called comfort women, who were sexually enslaved by the Japanese Imperial Armed Forces in 13 Asian Pacific countries from 1931 to 1945. The monument also includes a fourth figure who stands nearby, depicting an elderly woman meant to be Kim Hak-sun, the first woman to speak out about her experience during the Japanese occupation of Korea during the war." The San Francisco mayor's statement went on to say, "The memorial is a symbol of the struggle faced by all women who have been, and are currently, forced to endure the horrors of enslavement and sex trafficking. These victims deserve our respect, and this memorial reminds us all of the events and lessons we must never forget." It's very, like, as I said, a lot of these stories today, I wanted to speak on them because I felt like they needed to be spoke on, and we have spent a lot of time on Venom, and I'm running low on time, but we're gonna do one more quick shill. So if you want to help support the channel, you can go to fowlerwithDonald.com. When you go to fowlerwithDonald.com, you will see my big old bird face. When you see the big old bird face, then is this my metro? This is my metro. Spoilers. When you see my big old bird face, you can come down and click support the channel. When you click support the channel, it will give you the option to become a Patreon. Go to streamlabs.com/FowlerWrestling, or just click donate. When you click the donate button, it will take you through to a PayPal donation page, my PayPal donation page. You can donate to Fowl Original on a one-off basis or on a monthly basis, make it a monthly donation. If you want to do it as a one-off as well, you can let me know who you are. I'm happy to see you. And let me know and I'll shout you out. And you can also do that obviously via credit or debit card as well through PayPal. Now, after that quick shill, let's take you to one of my favourite segments, which is Metro Moments. I've got the Metro. Picked it up on the way back. And a lot of these stories I'm going to whiz through. So we've got one-click compo for rail delays. So a new app is going to be created. Front page of the Metro. We've also got Lily Allen there about when she's going to get sectioned. And that's a one-click app that will exist, allowing you to quite easily get compensation if your train is late. And it's going to be an app that you use, and it's just one click and get your compensation back, I guess. But we've also got some other stories, which I wanted to just briefly touch upon again. Passenger saved Eurotunnel boss from tube track. A heroic passenger rescued the former head of Eurotunnel after he was pushed onto the tracks a minute before a tube train arrived, a court has heard. And look at the age of this guy, yeah? This guy is not a young man, and someone pushed him onto the tube tracks. God damn, they'd be crazy in London. They'd be stabbing, they'd be throwing people on the train. Now, Sir Robert, 91 years old, and they pushed him onto the tracks. God damn. And yeah, Riyadh El Husani jumped down to help Sir Robert Malpas at Mabel Arch Station as boards showed another Central Line train due. Saved his goddamn life. Sir Robert was left with a fractured pelvis and needed 12 stitches to his head after being shoved by Paul Crossley. So Crossley approached Sir Roberts at speed and pushed him with two hands, sending him sprawling across the platform and onto the track, landing in the pit below the electrified track. Members of the public saw a large amount of blood escaping from a wound to the top of Sir Robert's head while he was lying in this position. And then Mr. Elisani bravely ran down the platform and saved his life. Mr. French stumbled when he was pushed twice, but managed to prevent himself from falling onto the track. Crossley was chased and caught by passers-by. He was seen on CCTV making an earlier unsuccessful bid to push passenger Tobias French onto the tracks. So this wasn't targeted specifically for him, but basically there was a guy in the tube that decided he was going to push someone onto the tracks. And he said, when detained, Crossley alleged, "It's not right. I know it's wrong," and later told police, "I didn't get much sleep last night." Crossley from East London denies 2 charges of attempted murder and an alternative account of attempting to cause grievous bodily harm to Mr. French on April 27th. He's admitted attempting to wound Sir Roberts. Wow. Wow. I didn't get much sleep last night, so I don't push people onto the track. Now, this is another story that I want to talk about, and this is something that I feel is, and it's a theme that I noticed in the Metro today. There is there's a story here, Manning, modern life similar to jail. And this is a story about a whistleblower who is now a transgender individual. So I wanted to quickly just briefly touch about it. So whistleblower Chelsea Manning has said surveillance systems and the police presence in the modern world remind her of prison. The transgender former US intelligence analyst, locked up for 7 years until 2017 for leaking secret documents, said jail and the wider world were much the same. Getting out of prison proved to be a bit of a downer in that sense, she said at her first UK public appearance in London yesterday. It seems as if when it comes to anybody coming out of like a whistleblower sense, and there's another story in here, as I wanted to show, like that story is that big about someone who's a transgender individual that has done good things, that had a really bad time after being locked up for being a whistleblower. And then I wasn't going to touch on it, but now I am actually. We've also got a story about Michael Jackson wanting to be Bond. That's one point. An agent reveals King of Pop's farcical bid to be Bond, and he demanded film bosses making the first Black James Bond, a movie mogul has claimed, and he made himself a laughingstock when he told super agent Michael Orvis he was a perfect candidate for the role of 007. It said, "I'm proud to report I didn't laugh this time." Orvitz had to tell the chart-topping star he wasn't suited to the role, one of the most coveted in the movie business. He told Jackson, "You're thinly built, you're too sensitive, you won't be credible as a brutal block of stone." Jackson died in June 2009 at the age of 50. Like, isn't it amazing that at the end of the day, he just wanted to be Bond. Doesn't everyone just want to be Bond? And also, Francis Sinatra, Aznavour, dies at 94. Legendary singer Charles Aznavour, once dubbed the Frank Sinatra, died yesterday at the age of 94. The crooner who had global hits such as, including "She May Be the Face I Can't Forget, the Something Something and Regret." That guy, yeah, he's dead. Sorry, it's very short and brutal tonight. But we've also got this story, which is, there's a lot of stories here in London, and Sajid Javid. It is Sajid Javid, isn't it? Isn't it? It is Sajid Javid. Sajid Javid talking about how he's going to target middle-class drug users as part of a clampdown on the causes of violent crime. Interesting, a £200 million youth endowment fund will provide more help in violent crime hotspots. But Shadow Home Secretary Diane Abbott, star of this week, said it wouldn't make up for council funding cuts. But as I said, he is trying to target, I'm guessing, the middle class as the people that are causing problems when it comes to drug, and that drug use isn't just the nobodies anymore. We've also got this, which I think is an amazing article as well. This whole page is just conservative propaganda, but this one is, we need the youth vote to stop crazed Corbyn, says Truss. Tories must mobilise youth voters to prevent crazed socialist Jeremy Corbyn getting into government, a cabinet minister said yesterday. Treasury Chief Secretary Liz Truss said the Conservative Party needs to have more attitude. She's from the 90s. They need to be more extreme. If it wants to attract young supporters the way the Labour leader has. Speaking at a conference fringe event, she asked, why is it that Corbyn has attracted some young supporters to his party? Why is there a more movement around Corbyn? She said it was not his ideas, but simply the fact that Labour are talking about ideas that appeals to younger voters. And Ms Truss called for a super shock boost in house building to make homes affordable and for lower taxes for young people. She said, I think it's wrong for NIMBYs who own houses to be stopping new developments which could benefit the next generation. She added that the objectors would be better off under the Tories than a nut-job central Labour administration run by a socialist crazed individual who wants to seize property. Oh my God, what propaganda. Speaking about propaganda, also in the same area, because this is all about Tory stuff, like I've cut some of the chaff here, But too corny, Boris trolls PM with a run in the wheat field. I'm not even going to read the article. I'm just going to show you what Boris Johnson's been up to. Bam! So Boris Johnson has been in a wheat field, just hanging out in a wheat field. Why? Because Boris Johnson has been accused of mocking Theresa May after being photographed while appearing to run through a field of wheat. The alleged stunt was interpreted by some as a deliberate reference to the Prime Minister's comment last year when she said that she was running through a field of wheat was the naughtiest thing she had ever done. Absolutely love Boris Johnson. And I really, really hope that he sneaks into Prime Ministership. I really do. I really do. Just look at how happy he is. Look at how happy. He does not care. Does not care. And that's why he'll become Prime Minister. He will lead the Conservative Party into a new dark age, but it will be so fun. And I don't want to talk about that story because that's a bit depressing. And Meghan's sister on exclusive, Samantha Markle exclusive on the Jeremy Vine show. Oh man, Jeremy spoken class today. Jeremy spoke in class today, and when he did speak in class, Meghan's sister, we're hoping for a happy ending. I'm sure that's what we're all hoping for. There's a story we'll talk about later on. Someone else that, hoping for a happy ending is the One Direction we're living in. You'll get that joke later on. The estranged half-sister of the Duchess of Sussex apologised to her on live TV yesterday, saying, "I wish things could be different. I'm just going to keep doing this." Samantha Markle, 53, who was not invited to the royal wedding, told Jeremy Vine on 5 she was in the UK to make peace. "I'm hoping that we can have a happy ending," she said. But she defended insulting Meghan by calling her Cruella de Vil, Dutch ass, and the Duchess of Nonsense. Amazing. Ms. Markle, who is also known as Samantha Grant, accused her half-sister of purposefully ignoring their father, Thomas, 74, who pulled out of the wedding due to ill health and after staging photos with the paparazzi. "Oh, boo! We were hoping private channels would be used. When they failed, we went public," she added. The goal at that point wasn't just getting closer. It was also about bringing out a very important point. You don't isolate family. You are a humanitarian. But host Jeremy Vine said, "You want to shame her. That's what it is." Ms. Markle added, "The public were making a mockery of the family, and it had to stop. Perhaps I was frustrated. I was lashing out more at the media." She doubted she would be able to make contact with the Duchess, but said everyone was hurt and not being invited to the wedding. She added, "I felt as though it could have all been nipped in the bud had everyone been included and we all agreed to move forward with positive resolve and the hurt feelings wouldn't have snowballed." It doesn't mean we love you any less, Meghan. It does. Viewers were split, with one accusing Ms. Markle of spewing hate and another saying she should have been stopped at border control. That's someone who really wants Brexit to happen. But Victor from London called her an absolutely lovely lady who should be godmother to any royal baby. Fake news. Manipulation. Oh, sorry, alleged. We've also got, obviously, the teacher had sex in plain toilet with drunk pupil. Continuation of that story from yesterday. We've also got Metro Bites. Foul-mouthed motorists turn the air blue every 2.5 miles according to a survey. The average driver sweats 41 times during every 100 miles. And then another one is found Hyundai, car maker Hyundai. And a rare marble-sized yellow fruit could become as popular as the strawberry, US scientists say. The shape and size of the ground cherry, nicknamed the strawberry tomato, have been improved by gene editing. Basically, tomaco. We've produced tomaco. Legitimately produced tomaco. A yellow tomato. Smooth. Smooth. It tastes like grandma. Children who attend nursery enjoy better psychological growth than those looked after by family or childminders, French research shows. Formal care leads to better social skills and behaviour, which explains why every single Asian is an annoyance. Except for me. And then, we had another story. Again, it's a little bit depressing, but Hamilton's grid girl dies as her BMW hits the wall. There's a lot of these people that work in cars that will die in their cars. And Asda driver's bag attitude left me carrying the cans. Pregnant mother was forced to carry her monthly shop up 2 flights of stairs when an Asda delivery driver refused to help her with her order. Amy Botton, 20, filmed the incident after having to leave her crying toddler in her flat to collect her £200 shopping. The footage shows the 20 weeks pregnant mum confronting the driver as he empties the food without carrier bags onto the floor of the flats in Feltham, West London. Ms. Botton says, "Can you not help me because my little boy's up there crying his eyes out?" And he says, "I'd rather not." As he wheels his pallets away, she asks, "Can you not be a decent person?" After posting the video on Facebook, she wrote, "This shouldn't be happening to anyone, lonely and elderly, disabled, pregnant." Asda said, "We have offered our full apologies and are in contact with Miss Botton to try and make amends." I mean, if there isn't entitlement in there, then it's nowhere. I mean, I understand you spent £200 on the shopping, yeah, but it's not their job to bring it up the stairs. And unfortunately, because of other people that have taken advantage of that, they couldn't. I think it's quite unfair that he didn't do it. Yeah, like I think that's pretty slack, to be honest. Yeah, should have at least like taken one box up for her. But I can understand his frustration as well, basically saying, "You didn't say I'd have to go upstairs, love." And, you know, it's murder in London as it is. I got some food delivered. When we were in location, I got some food delivered pretty fast. Anyway, we're about to come up to the hour, past the hour mark. So I'm going to give you our last few stories and then we'll wrap up the show for the evening. But I wanted to show this picture because a lot of people like this guy. But, I mean, I'm looking at him now and he's gone from amazing artist and creative to just another brown man. I apologise, but as a brown man, I guess I can say that. Zayn shows a strain as he faces lurid masseurs claims. Zayn Malik cut a somber figure when spotted for the first time since he faced lurid allegations involving a masseuse during a temporary split from supermodel Gigi Hadid. The singer, 25, looked forlorn as he strolled in New York hours after Enrica Petronagari, 41, claimed Zayn booked her for a private treatment. His lawyers were quick to tackle the X-rated pillow talk, saying, like it, you see. X-rated pillow talk saying the claims were a breach of privacy, but they did not issue a denial. The former One Deer and Hadid, 23, split in March but rekindled their romance a month later. Malik has since moved to New York to help boost the couple's second attempt at love. Now, I'm going to show you the picture of him because he's gone from like, "Oh my God, it's Zayn Malik. He's so sexy and stuff," to, "Oh my God, look, it's Zayn Malik." Yeah, the chubby guy who hangs outside the chicken shop. That's who he is now. Like, I understand, like, maybe he's getting a bit chubby and stuff. But, I mean, I know men that look like that. Yeah, he's on the road to becoming Fowl Original. Does that mean that he's going to be amazing? I don't know. Hold, please. And then another quick story that I wanted to talk about, which was Bradley Cooper become a sex symbol against odds. Bradley Cooper says it's not just women who are sexualizing Hollywood's casting couch, as he revealed he once lost a road because he wasn't effable. The American hustle actor who stars in and directs new flick A Star Is Born said it took a while to shake the downfalls of a lack of sex appeal. "I've always been an underdog," said Cooper, 43. "I've heard it all my career. Early on I didn't get a role because they said I wasn't effable. In the end, you reserve your attention for the work and not listen to anyone. People I care about who care about me told me not to direct A Star Is Born. They said it would be too difficult. Luckily, I didn't listen." He added, the remake starring Lady Gaga has generated fresh Oscar buzz for Cooper. Now, a lot of people have said that all the hate that's come for Venom is that people are like, "Oh, but what about Star Is Born?" Look, yeah, it's not Lady Gaga fans that are saying that this movie is bad, Venom is bad. People who are going to see the film are saying that this is bad. Not as bad. Like, this film, Venom, as I said, just quickly to come back to Venom here. This film, Venom, will, hello there, Ron, how you doing? This film, Venom, will have a lot of people liking it, yeah. A lot of people will like it. A lot of people will defend it. And it is a regularly decent film, but this film will do amazing in the opening week, and then it will just fall off a cliff. Now, our last story from Metro Moments for tonight. I think I've got one more, and we're just going to wrap up the show, which is watch it on replay. We're almost at the hour mark now, and I don't want to. Don't want to keep going because I've got stuff to do. Got work in the bloody morning. And this is, I think, our last story from the Metro actually. So, just looking, TV viewers browse for a day a year. TV addicts across Britain spend the equivalent of a full day every year browsing streaming services for something to watch, a survey shows. Many struggle to find a series or film that is just right for their mood around 4 times a week. Hello, how you doing, Yvonne? This is despite the average user subscribing to 3 separate services. Netflix is the most popular choice, followed by Amazon Prime, Now TV, and Sky Go. Viewers spend more than 13 hours a week watching TV shows and movies, not as I do, via a streaming service, and typically spend another hour each month deciding which service to use. Just under 60% find the browsing process boring. While streaming a film new to them, they are likely to give it 22 minutes to grab their attention before turning it off. Oh, really? Streamers also admit defeat and will give up on streaming anything at all 4 times a month if unable to find something to watch. 7 out of 10 people in relationships admit it is a more difficult decision to make when with a partner. The research was conducted by M&M's ahead of the launch of Red Recommends, which is designed to reduce the stress of streaming. The service, which will be voiced by the Red M&M, will be available to users via Amazon's virtual assistant Alexa throughout the month. Uh-oh, I said the name. And it's true, everyone, and it's true, everyone, like, people do browse a lot, yeah. I found that what I tend to do, like, I had it set up where I had all my TV shows, all ripped from my DVDs onto a hard drive, yeah, and all my movies, all my TV shows. And what I would do is I set up my, like, the program I had, all of them, and I just press the shuffle button. And what I would do is, like, I know that I'm going to be watching either an episode of The Simpsons, episode of Futurama, it's like an episode of animation. So I had an animation, yeah, and it's called a smart playlist in Kodi when it was back at XMBC, and I was using it, and I was like, this is amazing, yeah. Like, this is like, I could just put on, I don't have to think, it's just on. I'm gonna watch an episode of The Simpsons anyway. Why am I gonna spend my time finding which episode? Just all the episodes that I can just automatically just hit us, no thinking required, because I know that I would sit there for like half an hour going like, oh, I wonder what I should watch. Nope, screw all that. Shuffle button on the top of my Plex setup now. Shuffle button on the top of, like, because Plex is easy to use on the TV. I basically just walk in, just pop it on. YouTube autoplay. Like, I'd spend time maybe like trying to rewatch something that I've watched before. Other than that, no time spent. Like, the time of trying to find something for the mood, that's more of a logistical thing. I'm like, well, like BoJack Horseman, I was watching the other day. I was like, oh, I know that if I start watching BoJack Horseman, I'm gonna start watching it. I'm gonna feel real sad, and I'm gonna want to just like exactly viewers roulette. It's roulette. Like, it's, I do it with films as well. It's like, oh, are we gonna watch? Oh, are we having to watch Conan the Barbarian tonight? Well, no, we never have to watch Conan the Barbarian, but let's watch it again because I'm happy. That's what I was doing with the Twitter thing. It's like, oh, I don't know what film I'm gonna watch. Let someone else decide. Let the computers decide for us, yeah. That's what they're there for. I've been so surprised that Netflix never had like a shuffle button, like a just straight shuffle button where people just go, oh, that's an interesting show. What was that? This recommend stuff is just bull. And actually, there's one more story. Nice, fun little story from the Metro. Lego puts turtle on road to recovery. So this is the turtle. Look, this is the turtle. Look there. There we go. That's the turtle right there. Where's my finger? There's the turtle. Right there, as you can see. It's got Lego. So, a turtle left with a shattered shell after being run over by a car is mobile again thanks to a Lego wheelchair. And as I can say again, you can see that. Can you see the little wheels on the bottom? Little wheels, got a little wheelchair. A worker at Maryland Zoo in Baltimore, US, found the 18-year-old male eastern box turtle unconscious in the road with the bottom of his shell in several pieces. After surgery to repair the shell, aka super glue, that's what I'm thinking anyway, industrial super glue or turtle wax. After a Lego fan in Denmark built it, zoo staff designed a wheelchair to keep it off the ground using bricks. Now the turtle is expected to use the wheelchair until spring when the shell will have healed. The wax will have been on, the wax will have been off. Now the turtle expects to use the wheelchair until spring when the shell will heal. Head vet Dr. Ellen Brown said, "We are excited for him to return to the wild. With stories of Lego and machinations, he's the real Dr. Octopus." That's all for Metro Moments. Throw that away. And poor turtle. Poor turtle. But people have saved him. Now, if you want to save me and help me, I'm a poor turtle. Why don't you help Marshall out? Yeah, help Michelle. If you want to help me, you can. If you want to help, you can go to fowloriginal.com. If you go to fowloriginal.com, you will see my big old bird face. When you see my big old bird face, you pop down here and you can click support the channel. When you click support the channel, it will allow you to become a Patreon for all the different bits of content that I'm doing. I'm going to be fixing that this weekend. I keep saying it, and I will do it this weekend. Streamlabs.com/FowlOriginalWrestling. You can do that, and if I'm doing one of the wrestling live streams, you'll pop up with a thanks for the donating. But if you want to do it on just general basic level, basic version, you can click the PayPal button, the donate button, and that will, you can donate $5, for example. It's a cup of coffee, and you can make that a monthly donation to help support the content that I'm making on the regs. That will go towards everything that I'm doing, and I will shout you out, and I will let you all know. I'll set up a little hall of fame if people start actually doing this on the regs, and then obviously you can make a one-off donation and say, hey, it's me, Fowl, I'm paying myself. Attention. And then I'm all like, thanks, Fowl, for giving me $5. Thank you, myself. Thank you, myself. Now, as we do every week, the show, as we do every night, the show which is not afraid to take a copyright strike because it's going to happen anyway. Thanks, Sony. I was putting in, the trailer to Into the Spider-Verse and saying, it's going to be amazing. And then it's like, Sony has blocked you. I'm like, thanks, Sony. I was shilling for you. I was talking about how good it was, how it's a great thing for the nostalgias and the feels, and you're all like, yeah, I showed part of the trailer. On Periscope, this show is too hot for YouTube, but fine for Periscope. So let's leave you with what will be the end of this week's shows. Thank you for joining us for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If you did, thank you for joining us at the special later time tonight at 11 o'clock. And this longer version of the show where I try to wrap up as much as I can. Please like, share, and subscribe this. If you're watching on Twitch, thank you for joining on Twitch. If you're watching on Periscope, thank you for joining on Periscope. If you're watching on YouTube, then thank you for joining and subscribing and stuff. And join me for the week for wrestling Saturday morning from about 7-8 a.m. UK time, where we will be watching the Super Showdown live from Australia, and we will be making fun of it at a time which is very digestible to the Brits, but very indigestible to the Americans who have to wake up at 5 a.m. and are bitching about it. Shame on Sony indeed. But let's leave you with something that will probably also get me a copyright strike, but whatevs. So I'm going to leave you with this. This is one of my favourite shows of all time. Yeah, just because of the classicness of it, because of the cheese, because of everything. I'm going to leave you with this. So let's just bring down the volume a little bit, and let's get it on. And as I said, I want to thank everyone for this week. Thank you for your continued support of the channel, and thank you for your continued support of Fowl. Thank you. As I said, I'm trying to, I want to also a big thank you to everyone on Twitter that has been tweeting, retweeting my stuff. I last week broke the 6,000 follower mark, and I'm so grateful to all of you out there, like really am, because the numbers don't mean a lot to me, but they mean a lot to the people that are saying that this is not stupid, but that this isn't doing anything, and I'm able to show like a quantifiable thing. Like my fun is apparently not quantifiable because you can't pay the bills with fun. F you and spells fun. But it's of no consequence to me. The first copyright strike I got, it's every morning. I don't care. Yeah, because the show must go on. Now, I'd like to leave you with this, which is a TV show with Mr. Jim Davidson, and it's all about snooker. Put up a real good fight. I'm going to be snookering you tonight. If you like, share, subscribe, and all that business, go to fowloriginal.com to help support the channel. You can also help me in other ways by just letting people know about this on Facebook and turning up for all the shows. This has been Fowl Original. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Love you all. Bye.